kia ora tātou. Tau tuku ngā mihi ko mihia, tēnā koutou, nau mai hoki mai ki te kāinga. A lot of you know me from a lot of different things, but most of you don't know that my passion is really housing. I've had about 30 years involvement in housing, and through this whole process of treaty settlements and the sorts of things that we look into the future, there's two things that have got to happen to us in our own rohe. The first thing is we've got to be at the forefront of our own rohe. For too long we've been at the sides, at the back, and made excuses of our role in our rohe. We've never had our own representatives on the council. We just sit around, we're nearly half the population here, and I think we have to step up as a people. But the other thing that we have to create a place. Not only do we have the blue sky and the kaimoana, we have to have places where people can come and live. We have got people all over the world, many who would come back here with their beautiful families and their fantastic talents if we can solve this problem of housing ourselves. Now, just a snapshot of our circumstances. We've heard that we've got a growing population, but Māori home ownership rates are plummeting. 12% of our people live in a state house, which is okay, and over 1/3 of state houses across the whole of the motu are occupied by Māori. 1/4 of Māori live in overcrowded houses. This all links across to the health corridor we had before. 1/3 of us are paying more than we can afford for the houses that we rent, and nearly 1/3 of us get an accommodation supplement from the government, which generally makes us live in Auckland or South Auckland or West Auckland. Many of our houses up here are substandard, and we've been trying to fight that fight for 70, 80, 100 years. There's many barriers. We've got thousands and thousands of acres of land, and we haven't got anywhere to put a house. That's ridiculous. Our home ownership rates, look at that. 1991, 60% of Māori owned their own homes. Look at it now. That's 2006. We're having a census next year. It'll be down below 30%. What do we do up here? We make do. Quite innovative, actually. Look at that artist. That's a house quite local to here. Or we live simply, and that's fine too. That's one of my whanaunga's houses. She's just come back and she said she's sick of living in Auckland. She didn't have any money. And first of all, she bought the caravan and she put the house over the caravan. So, once you look at her garden and everything on the other side, it's beautiful. So, over the last 80 years, we've had native affairs housing through the 1930s. We've had urbanisation where we got shifted to towns and cities, and we got pepper potted and we got sent here and sent there. We had a bit of a Māori renaissance in the 1970s, and where people like Hilda got out of Auckland, people like Ngāho got out of Auckland, but most people stayed there, but a few people came home. Papakainga housing in the 80s, ad hoc responses in the 90s, iwi development focus, whānau focus, but what has that really changed? So that's what we were building in the 1930s. Some of them are looking pretty saggy down the bottom. There's Harmony's house up the top there. He just fixed it up, built in the 1930s. A lot of these homes are still here. The little house at the back was built in the 1930s. The huge house at the back was built in the 1990s. It's the same house. 1960s, they were cramming us on sections and building those sorts of houses. Papakainga houses, you can hardly see them. The trees have grown up so much. 500 Papakainga homes got built across Taitokerau in the 1980s. And if we hadn't had those, we'd be in a terrible situation now. Kaumātua flats, we built those on Pukeputa Road in 2005. There's some marae flats that just got up now. But what's the theme from all these places? We're doing them one or two at a time. Everybody's on their own. We've never, ever, the government, not anybody in this country has ever done a decent housing program over a long period of time. We know that we're going to need houses over the next 50 years in Te Hiku, and yet, if we build them one at a time, nothing's going to change. Nothing. We have to set up a program, and we've got to say, okay, how many houses are we going to need the next 50 years? Not just Rarawa, but Ngai Takoto, and Ngāti Kahu, and Ngāti Kuri, and Opodi, and what businesses actually can we set up, and how many plumbers should we train, We don't want everybody to be trained as a plumber and unemployed sitting on the side, but we can definitely have some building teams and some plumbing teams, some road gang teams, electrical, and set up a business that sits alongside our housing. It's never happened. And so a theme I took out of earlier on, talking about the job and the insulation. It's ticking more than one box at the same time. And I think in terms of what we're wanting to do, we've got to look at a future where we look at everything take a holistic view. What are the things that we want? The things that we need to work towards. Housing that is part of a community. Many of the social problems exist because houses aren't thought about as part of a community. Something that's sustainable so that we don't build 50 houses over here and then nothing for the next 10 years. Creating an economy of scale. We can get 50 tanks cheaper than we can buy one tank. We can get 50 pumps cheaper than we can buy one pump. All that sort of stuff for an economy of scale. We've never ever gotten our heads around this, and we have to do that. We all can actually lift the shovel at times, and we should all be helping each other. And you might get your house first, but you can help a few other people, and when it comes to the time of you getting your home, you'll be helped by others. And we've got to get back to that sort of thing. And we've got local resources, and we've got local strategic alliances, and we've got a whole lot of stuff that's happening in tribal development that we can reinforce. So I'm not going to go on any further, but I'd like to see us working together as Te Huku. I think we can take over all the state housing in our area in the future if we get organised. I think we want to be trying to attract our people back here. The more people that we can have living back here, the more shops we need, the more schools we need, the more jobs we will create. So if I look back in 50 years' time, have we been successful? Our population living in Te Rarawa will have grown substantially. There's no point in our people growing our population in Western Australia and Brisbane and Auckland and Hamilton. That's okay. People should go and do what they want to do. But we won't have succeeded unless our local people are living in good homes and our communities have grown and we've got all the people we need in our communities to survive. Kia ora koutou.